Divvy and the Bivvy.
Hi guys, Divvy and the Bivvy here. I'm getting prepped for tomorrow, going catfishing tomorrow. Water's getting colder and the weather's getting pretty dire, to be perfectly frank. Raining an awful lot, very high winds, so it's not exactly perfect catfishing times of the year, but I'm still pulling them out and the water is still keeping reasonably warm considering it's this time of year. Looking at about 17 degrees at the moment, which is pretty good for middle October. People have asked me about boilies on the bait and popping them up, and why do I always pop them up? I just think it's far better to actually have your boilies popped up instead of just laying on the surface, laying on the bottom, and they may of course be laying amongst debris, etc, etc, and they could be concealed. I accept the catfish can find them, but make life easy. Something like this, a small pop-up on the boilie, and that will elevate it. It doesn't have to elevate it totally off the ground, but it might just make it into like a snowman. So you could have, if this was another, if that sort of boilie, you had two together, instead of it laying flat like that on the bottom, it might just elevate it like that. You can also, if you critically balance them, and I'm going to show you how to do that, critically balance them, you could have it elevated so it's actually off the bottom by as much as you want. An inch, 2 inch, a foot, absolutely up to you, and I'll show you how to do that on the hair. So instead of it laying flat just like that, you can actually snowman it, so there's your bottom, and it's like that, or elevate it up so it's easy for the catfish to feed, especially if they're feeding in mid-water or off the bottom. Make life easy. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and it's called critically balancing it. Okay guys, this is pretty much what you need to make that rig. I use abrasion resistant leader. This is a 50 pound, 22 kilo. I move my arm out in full length and put it up to my neck, and that's about the length I use. So that's what I'm going to do now. Put that there, up to here, and there it is. So then I cut it off obviously, and next I just put on the pieces I need. So this is shrink tubing, 0.5 millimeter, and I just cut off a small amount like that. There we go, just a small piece like that. Thread it onto the line. Just put it down. Okay, so put that on first like that. All become clear in a moment. One of these bait stops, separate one out, push the line through like that. There we go, simple as that. If I pull this piece, it should, all being well, go on there, and it has, thankfully. Okay, like that, and then obviously pull the other end through, and I always end up putting the wrong one first. Let's have a look. Yeah, okay, so pull it through and it will, there, that's now on the line. Okay, so we've now got two things on the line. Don't worry if you get those running the wrong way, because obviously you can come in from the other end. And then I've got a little tiny bead, a little tiny one, very, very small. And this is always a little bit difficult to, well, I say always, hopefully it won't be this time, prove me wrong. Hold on, oh, there you go. And the bead's gone on, there you go. And so the bead goes along and it hits the bait stop like that. Now this, of course, now is going to be where the boilies and the pop-up go. So this is going to be the hair here. I can tie a simple knot here, a loop on here, like that. Pull it through there. That's that done. Okay, and now just cut off the tag. We are ready. That now just needs adjusting, you see, for the length that you require. So what I would do, boilies, these are 24 mils, and we'll use a pop-up, and that's how it's going to go, like that. Of course you can put on what you want. You might just want to put one on. which we can do. We can put just the one on and see how that goes if you want. And we know from the other experience I did just now how that actually goes, because that's what I've done before. So if you want to use just one, then maybe I would use a smaller pop-up. Let's do that instead of doing it with that one. It makes no difference. You've got it. It's the same principle. Okay, so let's put that away. All right. So now we have to put the baiting needle through the pop-up and through the boilie, like so. All right, simple enough. And then hook on the hook that you just made here. There we go. And slide it down. There we go. 1, 2, and that slid down. Okay, and the other thing that you need, of course, is finally a stop at the end. There. And then thread that through that hole. Yeah, like that, hopefully. There you go, like that. Pull the line braid through to get it tight. Come on, come through. There. Okay, that's gone tight on there now. Like that. That one there, you can now slide down to there. And so that's what you've got now. And of course this is movable at the moment, look. So now you've got it there. The bead is just to keep it in place, and slide this bait stop down to it, like that. And there you go. Now that's nice now. You can measure off the, you might be asking, why on earth have you got that on? The reason is because it kicks out the hook. Now, you got that on there like that. Now just put the hook in like that. And these are very, very nice hooks, as you can see. There you go. Now, you can now heat that, and it will shrink, obviously, because it's a shrink tube. So you can put it there like that and whip it on, or you can move it up a little bit and move it on. Put the other end through, obviously. There. Okay. And now you're just going to whip it on, making sure you start from the side that's not got the little nick, the little gap in the hook. Okay, so I can feel the gap is there, so I start from this side and just whip around a few times, 6 or 7 times. Go back in through here, like this, and go in from the back to the front. Pull it nice and tight, and there you go. And that's your finished product there. What I'm going to do now is heat the shrink tube up, just to give it some security, that's all. It's not going to go anywhere, to be honest. But you see, that's going to sit there like that. It's kicking out quite nicely. And now, when I drop that in the water, I've no idea what's going to happen, but I will then critically balance it. If that floats up too much, and it comes right up without any weight on it, fine. I'll put a little tiny weight on it, as I did before, one of these Fox BBs, and that will bring it back down to whatever depth I want it, like that. If it lays flat on the bottom, or it probably won't, the worst it would do, actually, is it will sit like that, like a snowman on the bottom. That's what the worst that will happen. It'll sit like that on the bottom, and with the hook there. If I wanted to, I could then shave off a little bit off the boilie until it rises up, and then put a little inline hook on it. It depends what you want on the day. But this here secures the bait to stop it sliding up and down, and it also gives a bit of a gap. Hopefully that's helped a bit. There you go. Enjoy. Okay guys, well I've put the hair rig on like this. This is just basically 22 24mm boilies with a 28mm or 28mm pop-up. It will float, okay, but it will just about float with the hook on it. It's important to do this with the hook on it because obviously the hook weighs. Okay, so here we go. Hopefully it won't prove me wrong. There you go. Okay, so it floats, as you can see. Now if you were to cast that out, that would be on the surface, which is obviously no use at all. So you can do one or two things. You can either cut a little bit off of the pop-up, so shave a little bit off, put it in and get it just right. The way I like to do it is I put a little inline weight here, because then if the next time you cast out, you know that'll be critically balanced. If you start shaving it off, you've got to shave off the same off the next one, etc. It's okay, you can do it that way. But like I say, I put a little inline weight in here, and I'll show you how that happens and then how it works. Okay, this is simple enough. This is basically, they're made by Fox. These are, no affiliation. They do them in different sizes, but I generally find the BB is about right. It comes with a piece of rubber on the outside, and you pull the rubber off and cut it off like that. It's a bit of tubing. Weight itself, if you look closely, you can see it's got a split in it. I don't know if you can see that, there's a split there. What happens is you put your line through here like that and keep it clear and make it sort of in that sort of shape like that, and then you put this piece of rubber and pull it tight, and so it gets, when you pull it, it obviously gets a bit thinner, and then it goes in that gap, and when you release it, it expands again and should lock it in place. There you go. Okay, now as you see, that's now expanded, it's in place, and the great thing with it, of course, is you can move it up and down. You can now move that up and down the length, and what will happen now is this, hopefully this will be suffice to be enough weight to critically balance it. So this will be enough to keep the rest of it from floating up. Go hopefully and sit on the bottom like that, and this will elevate to that point, and that's a nice depth to be off the bottom for any debris, etc. It's about 4 or 5 inches, I suppose, no more. Okay, and of course if you wanted it closer, you can slide this up. You can even take it off, of course, it's not difficult. Or if you wanted it even further up the water, you'd simply slide this piece down. So let's see if that works. If not, what you can do, you can use a slightly bigger weight here, or you can put 2 on, of course, and you can just slide them along. But let's have a look and see if that works. Let's see what happens now. If I release it like that, as you see, it's floating, and if I do that, as if by magic, there you go. And I hadn't done it once before, I promise you. So there you go. So you get that picture. You keep that rig exactly the same. And next time you know to put on 2 24mm and a 28mm pop-up, and it will sit critically balanced like that.